This event is going to look like what you're going to be seeing today. It's going to be split majorly into two parts. And the first part of this event is where we have the opportunity to have a discourse around the theme that says the 21st century workplace adapting to the changing dynamics. We're going to be having a conversation centered around that. And we would also be having a keynote speaker and also a panel session, just to get us a bit tiny, little bit ready for what is coming to us at this event. And also the second part of this wonderful career fair is where we have the opportunity to be able to talk to competent professionals, and they will be able to answer our questions, basically. That is where the fair is starting proper. Right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bikle, for that. We have a hashtag for this event. The hashtag is Lagos Career Fair. Please feel free to spread the news, right, to the world. And if you would like to use the restrooms, I'm just going to describe where the restrooms are. For those of you who are not members of TCN, right? Right behind this building, if you go through the center, you make a left turn. If you go through my right, you will make a left turn and another left turn. If you go through the left, you make a right turn and another right turn. In essence, I'm saying the restrooms are right behind this building. That would really help you a lot. So I think the next session is to invite the panelists, the keynote speaker. Okay, no, please, pardon me.
We have the opening prayer first.
Yes.
We'll start with prayer,
yes,
and we're ending with prayer.
Absolutely.
To help us with this,
let us welcome Ahmed Day.
Please, a round of applause as she comes forward.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Are we not excited? This is an opportunity. So before we just start, we'll just take a quick prayer. So, our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks. We appreciate you. We honor you. We thank you for this opportunity and the privilege to be alive, to be in this career fair. Lord, we return all praise and glory unto your name in Jesus' name. Holy Father, on our own we can do nothing, and that's why we're inviting you into this meeting. We ask you to take preeminence over every aspect. Father, Lord God, both for the panelists and the actual interview, oh God, that at the end of today, everyone here that is present will be filled with joy and gladness, and above all, your name will be glorified. And so we open this day in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for that. We will now invite Mr. Femi Darabidon to come take the opening remarks. Can I find him? Yes. Where is he? Is he around? Please, let's put our hands together as he comes up. He's the HOD of the Covenant Capital. All right. So, this event was put together in order to allow employers and employees have a common place to meet. And that is why we are here today. And we have a lineup of organizations that are ready to meet you. How many of us were part of the master classes? How many of us?
Just few of us.
Just few of us.
I think we're shy to raise up our hands. If you were part of the master classes, please can we have your hands up?
Please don't be shy.
Yeah.
Okay, some people were part of it. So we had master classes where we discussed various topics that would help job seekers prepare better for this event. But again, if you were not part of it, I'm sure you would find the information somewhere on our pages. So please endeavor to engage our pages so that you can learn from what has been shared. We had discussions around how to prepare a winning CV, discussions around how to present your information or brand yourself on LinkedIn. We had sessions around how to position yourself for a successful interview. So we actually had very engaging sessions. So if you were not part of it, please, you can leverage any of our social media handles. You can go to our Covenant Capital page on Instagram. You can go to our Covenant Nation page on Instagram and all other social media pages, okay, to avail yourself of this information that has been made available to us. How many of us are expectant today? Are we expectant? We're very expectant. We're also expectant, and we're hoping that you are prepared to meet these organizations, because you can see we have quite a number of them, and we also have panelists who are going to do justice to today's conversation. We're going to talk about the topic, and we have an amazing lineup of experienced professionals who are going to answer all your questions. As we go along, we'll let you know how you can log your questions, and then we will take those questions. Please, let's put our hands together for our panelists. They are here already. Thank you so much for coming. We truly appreciate your presence.
So let's not forget the hashtag again. The hashtag is Lagos, hashtag Lagos Career Fair. If you're making any contact, taking pictures or walking around, just give us the hashtag and tag us as well. Basically at Covenant Nation and at Covenant Capital.
Absolutely. One of the other reasons why we brought us together is so that we can network. And at some point, we will have that opportunity to network. Please understand that one of the important things we need to learn as professionals is how to connect with people. And we also taught that during the masterclass. Again, I reiterate that the masterclass is one of the best we've had in a long time. Mr. Femi Darabido, is he available?
Yes, please. Can we put our hands together
for Femi for the opening remark?
For his opening remarks.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We are finally here. Okay. Sometime last year, November 2023, we met with Pastor Poju, just trying to relay the plans we had for 2024. And he said one thing. He said, I've heard everything you guys have said, but we need to have a career fair in 2024 in Lagos. So since then, we took that word and we started working on it. And here we are today. And I want to say a very big thank you to Pastor for initiating that drive, and also to all the team that we put together to make this happen today. My special thanks goes to our panel of wonderful speakers, from our keynote speaker to all our panelists. We appreciate you for answering the call and according us that respect. We appreciate you. For all the participating organizations, we have over 70 organizations here today, and we don't take this for granted. Please clap for them. And we budgeted for 1,500 participants. As at last night, we have over 3,000 plus that have registered for this event. And that is a big deal to us, right? So that means we have people who are online currently watching, and we also have people in this hall at the moment. So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody for making it down here today. Why are we here? What is the real context of why we are all gathered here? I'll just say it in just a few words. It is about readiness and opportunity. Somebody once said that success is not the moment you actually have a breakthrough or you achieve something. It's actually because there is that time element of opportunity that meets with readiness. So this journey started a while back, and everything zeroed into master classes. So before today, we had master classes that looked into different concepts like workplace readiness, LinkedIn profile optimization, revamping and review of CVs and resumes, and everything that we felt was necessary to make people ready for the job opportunities they will meet today. So that we're not just coming here without being ready. So, and today we decided to create this platform to have a nexus between that readiness and the opportunity, which is why we're here today. And we believe sincerely in our hearts, we have prayed, we're expectant, we are hopeful that elevation in your career journeys will be achieved today. Today will begin the run in a new dimension for you as you progress in your career, or if you're just starting, because we also reached out to people who are just out of school, and those people in NYSC, serving the nation at the moment. So everybody is here. So it's a mix of different people who are at different points in their journey. So we look forward to a great today. It's going to be a wonderful experience, and we want you to be expectant. So on this note, we want to say welcome once again. Right. Thank you. So I have the opportunity to invite to the podium our keynote speaker. But before I bring him up, I'd like to read his profile so that we can have a context of who we are listening to. Mezo Nwuneli is the managing partner of Sahel Capital, agribusiness managers, a food and agribusiness focused private investment firm. He is a non-executive chairman, co-founder of Ace Foods Company, and co-founder and non-executive director at Sahel Consulting, an agriculture-focused management consulting firm. Mezo also serves on the boards of the African Private Equity and Venture Capital Association and the Private Equity Venture Capital Association, Nigeria. He is also an independent director at IGI HMO Limited and First World Communities Limited. He is an Eshoa Fellow and an Archbishop Tutu Fellow. He also holds a Master in Business Administration from Harvard Business School and received a BSc in Industrial Management with a minor in Information Systems from Carnegie Mellon University. He was honored by Harvard Business School in 2021 with its Distinguished Alumni Achievement Award. Sahel Capital currently manages two funds: Funds for Agricultural Finance in Nigeria, which has investments in SME agribusinesses in Nigeria, and Social Enterprise Fund for Agriculture in Africa, which provides primarily structured debts to agribusiness SMEs across 13 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Welcome with me, with a round of applause, Mezo Nwuneli. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that kind introduction. It is great to be here at TCN Igomu. It's actually my first time here. Normally I'm at TCN in Lekki. And I'm amazed how packed the hall is. And in some ways it's not surprising given the economic context we're in. I'm sure with many of you, you're worried about high unemployment. Will I get a good job? Is the job I have currently paying what I would like it to pay? Should I change careers? And I know it's a tough time, but even in this tough time, there are amazing opportunities out there, job opportunities, for those that are well prepared to take on those roles. And I think for each one of you, you've done a very important The short discussion that I'm going to give today, I'm going to touch on, in my view, some success factors that will help you get and retain your dream job. And I'm going to touch a little bit on some personal experiences. Now, first of all, and what I think is extremely important, is what is God's vision for your life? Not what do your parents want you to be. Your parents is a doctor, engineer, banker. Not what your parents want you to be. Not what you see your friends and classmates and colleagues doing, but what is God's vision for your life? Now, this is very important because when you follow that path, it then tends to enable success even more rapidly than if you went through another path. And you know where you are in that place when you feel a burning inside of you, that an excitement that this is what I really want to do. Now, touching on a personal story of mine, many years ago, at the end of my third year of university, went to university in the US, and walking down near the student center, and I ran into a friend of mine who was 1 year ahead of me. And he had dressed in a suit, asked him some questions, was coming from a job interview, and he was interviewing with an investment bank on Wall Street. And as I spoke to him, and he described capital markets, what investment banks were doing, I found myself getting extremely, extremely excited about a role that I've never heard about before. And I left and did a lot of research and also realized that in these roles on Wall Street, they only take the top 1%. The best of the best is who they take. Very tough interviews. They don't take anyone. They pay very well once you get in, but very tough to get into. And regardless of what you see in my CV, when I was in my third year of university, I had A's, B's, C's. And some people may joke that you saw many letters in the alphabet on my transcript. And so not typically what you'd expect for somebody to go down this path. But that burning was inside of me, went through many interviews, got many rejections. And the most depressing for me was met with an older individual who I knew, who was 6-7 years ahead of me, from Nigeria, was one of the top investment banks. And he more or less told me, with your academic profile, there's no hope for you, just give up, go do something else. I think the next 2 weeks were probably one of the most depressing times in my life, just being told that, I should not bother. And it caused some soul searching, and I went back and really looked at what do I actually need to go down to this career path that I really wanted to go down. And it caused a whole change. So that final year, I think I spent more time studying than I'd ever done before. And as context, my grades were the way they were because I was trying to start unsuccessfully many different businesses in university. So my final year, I said, okay, let me leave trying to be an entrepreneur. Let me focus on academics. I got an on-campus job that had me working as an administrative assistant in the business department, and I picked Friday and Saturday nights, because they were 24 hours open, where I would work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I picked that time because I knew everybody else would be out at parties. So the department would be empty, and I could actually study during this time and also get paid while everybody was out. I also, that year, went and found a brokerage firm in that same city who agreed to allow me to work for academic credit for free from 7 in the morning to 10 in the morning every day. And for me, it was a chance to really learn about this industry, this sector. I was not focused on whether I was making money or not, but saying, okay, let me learn. And through that time, I wouldn't say that it took 3 years before I got the role that I did. But I'm mentioning this story because it is just because you feel that burning and say, this is the path that I want you to go into. In many ways like David, that was anointed king, but many years after, before he became actual king, there's going to be a development and refining phase. And you need to be very focused on what do you need to do to develop yourself. And it goes on to the next point I want to talk on about persistence, but not just blind persistence and continuous learning about what can you do to actually strengthen your skills, your experiences, your knowledge to prepare yourself for that role you eventually go and take up. And very important because nothing comes easy. And I think coming here this morning is a good step for many of you. The other thing I want to touch on is the importance of continuous learning. Doesn't matter whether you're still in university, whether you're early in your career or late in your career, continuous learning is extremely critical for success. In 2007, I was in Senegal, and I was there I had some medical issues, I was recovering, and the private equity firms came up to me and said, would you come and work with us for 9 months? We haven't started, so we do not have any money to pay you, but come and help us start up this firm, but we can give you accommodation. Now, how many of you would take up on a role where somebody says, come and work, you can learn, but sorry, we don't have money to pay you? And probably many of us won't do that. And I'm not an advocate for necessarily saying go work for free, but in this instance, I spent 9 months working, helping set up this private equity firm in Senegal that was covering sub-Saharan Africa. And it is what I learned in those 9 months that 7 years later was what I used to help set up Sahel Capital. So it is just to mention that continuous learning is so critical and it's something that you should really focus on. And even in making your decision around career jobs, you should prioritize where you're going to learn the most, not necessarily where will pay you the top naira. Integrity is something that I think is also quite important. And it's very easy to overlook in the environment we're in. Very, very easy, because we see so many people getting ahead, they're cutting corners, but integrity is something that I think is absolutely critical. And to touch on a couple points on this, for many of us, we have references, we put those references on our CVs, but the reality, and at least the approach I take, is it's not the reference on your CV that I'm calling. Because of course you're going to put that reference that is going to say the best things about you. It's everybody else that's around you that I actually follow up to try and understand who exactly is this person, how do they behave in tough circumstances. And you'll be surprised that the decisions and things you do when you think nobody is looking or when you think nobody knows about, people do. And then people will make decisions about you, your career progression, based on, in addition to your skills, but you would have doors closed if you have integrity gaps. It is so critical. And if I look at the journey that I've had throughout my career, there have been many incidences where doors have been opened just because of people's perception of how they believe I'll be a good steward of their capital. And this is so important if in your own journey, just to be very attentive to this, that regardless of what people are doing around you, how do you ensure that you make decisions and you're a good steward with the opportunity that has been given to you? The last thing I want to touch on is around relationship management. And this is a soft issue, but also one that I think is very critical throughout your career. And this relationship management with mentors, with your subordinates, with whoever your boss is, how are you engaging around these relationships? So with mentors, of course, it's important. You need people that you can go to advice, open doors, can guide you down your career path. So you should be very attentive, and I think many of us also realize and expect that mentors are important. But also beyond mentors is where you work, are you solving problems for whoever you're working with? When you're given a task, are you coming back to whoever your manager is and saying, there is a problem and I'm not sure what to do, or are you actively trying to solve problems? And what I've found throughout my entire career, and I'll speak as somebody who is an employer, those individuals who solve issues within the company, within what we're doing, are those people that I am very quick to promote, to give raises to, because they make my own life easier. So with the people you work with, how are you solving problems for them? How are you building your own skill set? So for the places where you go to, it's not just a place you're going to collect a salary or to work, but how are you solving problems for them to enable that organizational move forward? The other which is important is that, and I think it's very easy for many of us to be very attentive to those who are ahead of us. But we should also not lose focus on those that may not be ahead of us. We should be also very humble as to how we engage with them. Now, there are a couple examples of this I want to touch on. The 3 years I spent trying to get onto Wall Street, many interviews, many rejections. JP Morgan, I was one of the finalists. It was between myself and another individual. And I was selected, the other individual wasn't. And many months later, the reason I found out that I was selected after going through all the screening is they couldn't make a decision on which one of us to select. And they eventually asked the administrative assistant, the most junior person in the organization, what she thought, because she was the one taking us between interviews. Between one interview to the next, she was taking us between interviews. And it now turned out that while she was taking us, I was actually very polite, very respectful. I engaged her in conversation. And the other candidate, who came from a top school, very smart, was actually very dismissive, very rude. And so in that engagement, they said, beyond everything else, the skill set, doing well in the interview, they wanted somebody who would treat people properly. And that was the reason that it didn't matter all the years I spent. That finally pushed me over the edge to get the role that I wanted. So very important. And another example of this is there have been 2 situations where we've gone to raise capital from investors. And when we're going to raise capital, you always think it is the most senior people that you have to convince for them to now decide to give you capital for you to invest. And in 2 situations over the past 10 years, it's actually turned out that it's been the most junior person in the organization that has opened doors for us, either created opportunities where we could now be at the meetings to present or giving us very valuable feedback. So it's mentioned that as you're thinking about relationship management, very critical to focus on mentors that can advise and guide you. Very important to make sure that you are problem solving for those you work for, but at the same time, pay attention to how you treat people, regardless of where they are in the organization. Now, those are the key points that I think I would like for you to take away this morning. I think we have great panelists here that are going to go into a lot of more details and specifics. I think you've done an incredible job coming here this morning to learn. And I think we just want to encourage you to view this as a lifelong endeavor to keep on learning as you go through your entire career. Thank you.
Wonderful. Powerful. Please a round of applause again. This is quite a bit of things that we learned this morning. One that really stood out for me is, would you rather be in a place where you build your skill set, or you would want to go to where the money is? Okay. Other thing he said was that, I think that was the last point he mentioned, was most junior person can also open doors. So it's very pertinent to always treat people right. The way you treat people probably might open or close doors for you. Please, a round of applause. Thank you so very much, sir. And on this note, to show our token of love for you, we're going to have to present a plaque to you. And to help us with this, we would bring Mr. Femi Darabidon to help us present the plaque to our keynote speaker. Please, can you come forward, sir? Thank you. Please, can you come forward? Mr. Femi, you have something to say about him?
Okay, on behalf of the Covenant Nation and Covenant Capital, which is the entrepreneurial arm of the Covenant Nation, we want to say a very big thank you to you for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay. Like I said, bits and pieces of information. We still have the restroom. I think we were here when we announced the restroom earlier. If you need to use the restroom, it's just directly facing us. So you have to go out from any entrance and you make your way. Just ask one of the ushers. I think it's a bit easier that way and they would be able to direct you. Hi.
Absolutely. That session was so powerful for me. And I love the fact that he used his life to tell the story. Everything he has said. I hope we took notes. It is very vital. Thank you very much, sir, for that session. Please, let's put our hands together once again for our keynote speaker.
And if you have notes that you want to put on social media, like I said earlier, the hashtag is hashtag Lagos Career Fair.
Absolutely.
And you can also tag us at Covenant Nation and also at Covenant Capital. So anything that resonates in your heart to be able to post on social media, please tag us. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. For the participating companies, please, you should use this email to send the vacancies that you have in your organization so that we can project them. Please use the email covenantcms@gmail.com. covenantcms@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. So this morning, I've been looking forward to do to have the icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
I think basically, this one should sit down right with every one of us. The whole essence of all of this, again, is to be able to interact, to be able to
Meet
talk to people, meet with people and everything. So please, have you met the person sitting next to you today? Do you know their names?
Your computer may just be beside you.
Do you know their names? Do you know what they do? I don't understand. Some people are just smiling directly at me.
Beside you. Your employer may just be beside you. Your best candidate may be sitting beside you. So it is not just that you are going to sit and meet people. This is the point where you actually get up and meet people. Meet anyone you want to meet.
If you feel the need to stand up, please stand up and go and meet someone. It's not enough to have the eye contact with them and please.
Absolutely. Please, let's stand up and move around. Meet people because we're going to ask you questions. We're going to ask who you have met. And you should be able to tell us at least 3 things about these people. Please don't meet people you've met before. And don't meet people you already know. Don't meet your friends. Please meet new people. Meet new people. We are going to call on you randomly to tell us.
Abiola, I'm going to do something very random. I'm going to meet like 1 or 2 people.
Fantastic. Let's go around.
While we're
stand up
setting up for the panel sessions. And God help us.
Please meet somebody you have not met
so
before.
That you would be.
Don't meet somebody from your organization.
Okay.
Or from your school.
Okay.
That you have known before.
Sister, good morning. I have someone here, Abiola.
Good. Let's go.
All right. You've had the chance to meet someone all day. You didn't. Okay. What's your name, ma?
Clementina Temitokwe.
Sorry?
Clementina Temitokwe.
Okay. So what's the name of the person sitting next to you and what does he do?
Festus is an accountant.
We are coming for you.
Festus is an accountant. Please, a round of applause. They are even giving themselves a high five.
Fantastic.
Let me go to another place.
She got the assignment.
She got the assignment, most definitely. Yes, ma'am. What's your name, ma'am? Please, can you stand up?
My name is Queenette.
Queenette. So, what do you do?
I'm into hospitality services.
Okay. So, the next person sitting... Okay, this person sitting next to you, what does he do? What's his name?
His name is Dolapo.
Is your name Dolapo?
What do you do again?
She's asking what he does. It's late already. What do you do, sir? Sorry? Business analyst. Okay, one more person.
Meet people before he gets to you. Meet people now.
Meet people now. I like the way you're smiling at me, sir. Please, can you be on your feet? Thank you. What's your name, sir?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, what do you do?
I'm a software engineer.
You're a software engineer. The person sitting right behind you. We didn't just say beside. She's behind you. Okay, I should ask for people in your front. Are you the one that created this game? Are you the one that will tell us what to do? So you don't know her name? Okay, whose name do you know? Can you mention 3 people's name? 3? Okay, you do 2. Okay, fantastic.
Pauline.
We can't hear him, please.
Her name is Pauline.
What does she do?
Pauline, is that your name?
Pauline, is Pauline your name? Pauline is your name, right? What does she do?
So I didn't really capture that, but she works.
You said she's a full housewife. Is that what she said? Okay. Okay, you did say that. Okay. She works in the health sector. Who other person are you? You said 2. You promised me 2.
Yes. Him.
Im. His name is Im. Are you Chinese by any way? Is your name Im?
No, that's...
What's his name?
Are you sure they didn't come together?
What's his name?
No, you see, I can't even remember his name again.
Wow. You're under pressure. Okay. And you've not been interviewed yet. Please. Please, this is very, very important. You really need to know people around you. Yes, I think we can move on.
Please, let's put our hands together for ourselves. At least you've met somebody new today, right? Networking is a critical part of this journey, of your professional journey. So we must get used to it. So
I think the next line of action we're going to take now is the panel session. Please, can we all settle down, please? 1 hour.
You will continue the interactions later.
1 hour, please. Thank you so very much. So we're going to move on to the panel session right about now. So to help us with this panel session is our moderator. His name is Damilola Obidairo. Please, a round of applause for him. Damilola Obidairo, an enterprise and talent development specialist with extensive experience in business and project development. With a background in chemical engineering and nearly 2 decades of industry expertise, is driven impactful initiatives across diverse sectors in West Africa. As CEO of 8th Gear Urban Venture Studio, Damilola leads ventures from idea to execution, offering crucial support services for startup and MSMEs on their digital transformation journey. He is known for forging strategic partnership with global agencies like BMGF and USADF, delivering measurable impact through collaborative projects. A lifelong learner, Damilola holds an executive MBA from Quantic School of Business and Technology, along with a CAPM certification from PMI. His passion for community service and excellence has earned him multiple awards, reflecting his commitment to growth and innovation. Beyond work, Damilola enjoys music, nature, and quality time with his family, inspiring others to embrace continuous learning and personal development. Please, with joy in our heart this morning, let's make welcome our moderator, Mr. Damilola Obidairo.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today. I'm sure everyone here is as well. I'm going to do the honors. My first assignment will be to bring up our distinguished panelists. So I'm going to be reading out their profile here. I think I'm going to have to borrow this lectern in the time being to read out these powerful profiles. In no particular order, I'm going to be reading the profile of Mr. Bolahon Joshua. Mr. Bolahon Joshua has over 21 years of banking experience across various areas, including finance, strategy, business transformation, investor relations, performance management, treasury operations, technology, and digital banking. He has served in various roles and leadership capacities, including CFO, CIO, and COO. Prior to joining FCMB Group, as Group Operating Officer, he was the Executive Director, Chief Operations and Information Officer at Fidelity Bank PLC, where he led different transformation initiatives. He attended King's College Lagos and is a graduate of Olabisi Onabanjo University, an associate member, that's ACA, of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, and a senior member, HCIB, of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. He has attended several executive training programs at leading schools, including Harvard, Stanford, IMD, INSEAD, and IESE. Please join me in welcoming with a round ovation, applause, Mr. Bolahon Joshua. Welcome, sir. So Mr. Bolahon is our business leader on the panel, and so I'm going to go straight to our HR expert, our HR leader who is coming to defend the HR profession here, as it were. I'll be reading the profile of Emma Clark-Essie. Emma Clark-Essie has 29 years of post-call experience in banking consultancy, capacity development, and entrepreneurship. For approximately 1 decade, she worked for various banks, including FSB International Bank, now Fidelity, Senate Bank, Intercontinental Bank, now Access Bank, and Bond Bank, now Polaris Bank, where she sold financial products and also held leadership roles in branch management, relationship management, and in marketing and sales within the consumer, retail, and commercial and public sector banking department. She's a skilled executive and consultant and an expert people manager. And then she's done a lot in terms of leadership and employee development. She's also a coach, mentor, and an organization learning and knowledge management expert who understands contemporary approaches to designing and managing corporate learning centers while working with functional heads. And so you understand why we need her on this panel. Emma has a master's degree in human resource management organization with a specialization in organizational behavior. She obtained this degree from London School of Economics and Political Science, where she studied as a British Chevening Scholar. Furthermore, she has a postgraduate certificate in teaching English to speakers of all languages from University College London Institute of Education. Her first degree is in law, which is from the Obafemi Awolowo University. Please join me in welcoming Emma Clark-Essie. Thank you very much. You're welcome, ma'am. Next, I will be reading the profile of Osinachi Ibiheme. He's a seasoned finance executive and inspirational leader with over 20 years corporate experience in multiple finance domains, including commercial finance, assurance, and business process improvement. He started his career at the world's largest professional service firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers, where he led several engagements providing assurance and consulting services to large multinationals across different sectors. At GE, that's General Electric, where he spent 10 years, Ossie held several senior finance leadership roles, including Director, CFO Africa, Commercial Controller Africa, Regional Controller Africa. OC is a trusted leader, mentor, and coach. He's passionate about helping young professionals like us navigate their corporate career journey successfully through commitment to excellence. He's happily married to a wife, and Precious, and they are blessed with 2 children. Please join me in welcoming Osinachi Ibiheme. You're welcome, sir. He's the finance expert, and he will share with us how, finance helps us to do things right. Next, I will be reading the profile of Fisayo Duduyemi, our strategist on the panel. Fisayo Duduyemi is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, that's FCA, with over 2 decades of cumulative work experience spanning financial services, FMCG, and the energy sector. He holds a BSc in accounting and a Masters of Business Administration from Obafemi Awolowo University. He's also a holder of certificate in strategy execution from INSEAD, amongst many other educational accomplishments. He currently serves as the 2nd Vice President of the Nigerian Gas Association, that's NGA, the apex body of professionals in the Nigerian gas industry, and presently volunteers at the Covenant Capital, the entrepreneurial arm of the Covenant Nation. He's happily married with 3 children. Please help me welcome Fisayo Duduyemi. We seem to have picked our seat, and okay. And people say last but not the least, but there's no comparison here. We have someone in the room who's going to be defending the millennials and the Gen Zs in the room. She's a young person by the name of Korede Omoleiwa. I'll be reading her profile. Korede Omoleiwa is a certified product management professional who leads product teams in creating exceptional tech products that solve real problems and makes people's life better. Currently, she's serving as the head of product at Jump and Pass, a Techstars-backed startup revolutionizing retail experiences in Africa. Korede oversees the development of innovative solutions that allow retail customers to scan and pay for items via their smartphones without having to queue. Korede is intentional about our career growth. She spends a good part of her free time improving our skills, mentoring new and aspiring product managers. Our career goal includes leading teams to develop globally recognized and widely used tech products, as well as actively participating in shaping the next generation of product managers in Africa. You're welcome. Please join us on stage. All right, I'll take the left angle here, but I'll wait for her to sit before I do the honors of sitting. Thank you very much. You're all welcome. It's a very interesting conversation today. Please, can I have mics for everyone? Do you have a mic, Ma? You do? Okay. It's a very interesting conversation we're going to be having today. First, I would like to establish on behalf of everybody and everyone sitting in the room, that we all know that the world of work is changing fast. There's no debate about that, right? But my first question that will go to Mr. Bolao is, how does your organization create a supportive and inclusive work environment to attract and also then retain existing talents in your organization? Could you share some of the strategies that have worked for you, given the changes that we're experiencing in the workplace today? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, let me thank Covenant Capital for inviting me here. Huge privilege. Thank you so much. Great event. Thank you. And also thanks to everyone that is here and all the other panelists. So, when we speak about inclusion, for you to have inclusion, you must first have diversity. Yeah? So diversity comes first, and then you have inclusion. And diversity is having people from different ethnicities, gender, and all that. And then inclusion is just trying to ensure that all those things work together. Now, work is changing, but some things don't change. For example, everybody wants to hire somebody that can solve problems. Sure. Hard work has not gone out of fashion. No matter what is changing, you must be able to execute. So some of the things that I have seen done that I've, from an organizational perspective is you try and settle in people into the organization a lot much faster. So when I started work, no one was, onboarding. So some of these words now are very fanciful. Say you're onboarding, you have a body. Who is bodying you? Get in there and find your way. But things have changed. So you get in people, you ensure they settle in seamlessly. You try and ensure they do a lot of things digitally. You assign someone to them, who sort of puts them through the culture of the organization. Because there's nothing more important than the culture of an organization. No matter where anybody is coming from, every organization has a sort of culture. So you assign people to them, they put them through the culture, you check up on them periodically, you have sessions with them to find out how they're doing. But I'll tell you what my personal experience is. My personal experience is it works for a lot of people, but 60% of the time, you need the person to be self-driven. And I think the most important skill today is curiosity. Because things are changing so fast. And so even if you put all those things in place for people to be integrated, if the person is not curious, if he comes today and he sees these speakers arranged this way and this stage is this way, if he comes the next day and he sees it, the third day, if he doesn't ask, why are these speakers here?
There's a problem.
There's a problem. So curious people settle in faster than other people. Number one, they ask questions. Number two, they quickly know what should be done and what should not be done. Number three, they get into trouble.
That's a big one.
Because they're curious, they get into trouble. But there's good trouble and there's bad trouble. There's trouble they get into because some of them are very inquisitive. But they learn very quickly what they shouldn't do. The person who is not curious, he's going to make his mistakes at a higher level. And at that point in time, people expect, the expectations from him are far higher. The guy who is new and is curious, he says this, he says that. So you need a curious person. Now, after that, you now try and retain them. Inclusion today includes trying to retain people. It's quite difficult to retain people because their expectations are very different. And there's a lot of things influencing people these days, So you have social media influencing people, you have their friends influencing them, and, people want to hammer. And, I don't know how best to describe hammer, then they just want to make money, And Mezue said something very important, which is a curious person learns things. A curious person sees you doing something, you've put him all through the process of this, how we onboard you and everything. But he's going to ask you so many questions that he starts, you who is putting him through, you start rethinking some of the things you're doing because he's so curious. He'll tell you, why do we have to do things this way? Why do we have to do things? And I'll give an example. So I was working in an organization and the supervisors signed the staff loans, And someone was recruited and the lady asked me, she said, why do supervisors sign the staff loan? I said, because they are their supervisors. She said, but what's the criteria for a staff loan? So we sat down and said, the criteria for a staff loan is you must be confirmed, 1. You must have a particular appraisal score, 2. And number 3 is that you must not be taking more than a third. Your repayment must not be more than 1/3 of your monthly salary. So the lady said, number 1 can be automated. Number 2 can be automated. And then we called the head of human resources. And I said, look, this person said this. He said, no. I said, so why do you sign? He said, there are some things the supervisors see before signing. The lady said, what do they see? Are they spirits? So the process, now, everybody had been working there. But why did she ask that question? She asked that question because she said, because she's a woman and she needed a loan for a personal medical issue. And she said she felt she was being vulnerable, explaining what she needed the loan to a supervisor. That she just felt it was her personal. So that's a curious person. And because that person did that, 2 weeks later, that whole loan process was automated, and everybody could receive the loans digitally. Now, because they could also do that, a lot of people now didn't like the person. Because you see, there's somebody sitting there in HR who people used to call. Hello, has the loan been approved? We're working on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to remind you, the purpose of this conversation is for us to draw insights, and I hope that we are picking the insights. And for those of us that are curious people in this hall, in this venue today, and we have questions that we may want to ask any of the panelists, please go to slido.com and then use the keyword Excel, hashtag Excel, all in caps, all in capital letters. Excel, yes, it's on screen now. And so you could scan the QR code, and you could also go directly to slido.com, use the keyword Excel to go in and then drop your questions for those of us that are curious, right? So I will ask the same question that Mr. Bolan asked to our HR expert, Emma Clark. Let's look at it from the angle of retaining. And so if organizations do have quality talent, curious talent, already existing in the organization, how do they ensure that these talents are retained? What's the magnet? What's the glue that keeps them in the organization from your point of view?
Thank you very much for asking me that question, and thank you to Covenant Capital for inviting me here today, and to the Covenant Nation. This is a great place to be, and I'm just happy to be here with the rest of you sharing my thoughts and ideas. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that I have found are really crucial to keeping people within an organization. The first is you want people to learn to be problem solvers, all right? I remember when I started my business at 31 years old, and by 36, I was already showing signs that I may not make it till the age of 40. And why was that? Because in my own organization, I had set myself up to be the be-all and end-all of everything, all right? And after, these health problems went on for like 5 years. And after I was able, thankfully, to exit from those health problems, I found out that you have to set up people to be able to know how to do the work, all right? And once people know how to do the work, they will stay, all right? So you want to teach people to be independent thinkers, to be problem solvers. You also want to create an open environment for people, an environment where people can share their skills and be confident that they can share their skills, where you know that I can go up to my boss, talk to my boss about anything, give my boss ideas, suggestions. He's talking about curious, people, all right? But it's not in every environment that curious people can function. So you want to create an environment where people can actually function, all right? You might think that, it's an easy thing to happen, but it's not. I remember working in a particular organization where my boss resented the fact that I was a curious person who was always coming up to him to give him ideas and to tell him, this is how I think that we can move things forward, all right? So if you want to retain talent, you've got to make sure that you create that open environment where people can operate and show their skills, showcase their skills. And then what is another thing that you want to create? You want to create a fair environment. A very fair, I am somebody who is known to be firm, but very what? Fair. All right? So you do not want to create an environment of favoritism and cultism. Once you start turning your office into a cult, you are in trouble. Okay? The environment becomes toxic. Good talent will not stay. So you have to be fair. All right? You judge people fairly. You reward people fairly. You make sure that people get what is their due when it is their due. All right? You do not withhold benefits from people. And then also, you punish people when they need to be punished. All right? Because sometimes employees need to be punished. Everything is not always about, smiling and being happy. If an employee gets it wrong, I don't know whether to use the word punish or to use the word, what can we say, discipline? Is that All right? I have had a situation before where I don't have favorites. I love people. I want you to work with me, but at the same time, I make it very clear to you that I do not have any what?
Favorites.
Any favorites. I've had a situation before in my office where one of my employees took out my car. One of my superstar employees took out the office car, drove it, and bashed it. And we had just bought the car. So what he did was he quickly went and he fixed the car. And to all intents and purposes, I was not to know about it. But somehow, the news got to me. And the staff within the office took a bet. They were like, oh my goodness, this person is very close to Madame. There will be no repercussions. He also thought he was going to get away with it. So what he did was to take me out for lunch. Madam, you're such a wonderful person. You're great. We just want to hail you for all the wonderful things that you have done. Anyway, by the way, I bashed the what? The car. So I didn't say a word. I finished my lunch. I wanted to eat the food, right? So I finished my lunch. I had a wonderful time. And then when I got back to the office and I got to my throne room, into my office, I summoned everybody and started meting out the punishment. And he was punished. And the news went around the office that, wow, she has no what? Favorites. All she's concerned about is you getting the what?
The work done.
Get the work done. And I want to emphasize this, especially for our women, all right? Because we are the most endangered species. I say this everywhere. We're the most endangered species in the work environment. As you go higher in the office, what are you going to see? It's a pyramid. You're going to see more men and less what? Women. So as a woman, what you want to do, is to be what? Very what? Competent. You want to show your competence off the what? Off the bat. All right? So these are just some of the ways that
Thank you
we make
very
Talent
much,
Day.
Emma Clark. I'll move to you, Korede, and I would love to ask, what factors would you consider most important? Because it's not only employers that shop for talent and try to retain talent. Talents also shop for employers, and we've had cases where talents have had multiple offers that they had a tough time making a selection of where to go. So what are the factors that you would consider in evaluating a potential employer for career advancement? And if you could join that with how you then feel about remote work options and the impact of work-life balance, that would be great.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you to Covenant Capital team for inviting us. And big shout out to DJ Pope and Pastor T. Okay, so I'm supposed to represent the millennials here, right? So Alpha have liberty. Okay, so what are some of the things I look out for when I want to work with a company? For me, I think it depends on the person and where you are, right? Some people look for money, some people look for different things. But for me personally, I look out for the reputation of the company. And it's very important because I want to be proud of where I work. I want to be proud of the people I'm working with. And this was even more, this became more important for me recently. About last year, I was looking for a job and I was applying to a number of places. And I came across this company, I applied. And then they called me for an interview. But before the interview, I went to research about them. And I saw so many bad things about them. So many horrible things were said about them by employees. And I just ignored it because I thought that disgruntled employees, they've come, village people, they don't want to progress and all, they're not doing well. So I just ignored it. And then I remember going in for the interview and they treated me really badly. Like, they were interviewing me, and the person that was speaking to me was speaking to me in such a condescending manner. He was asking me questions, and I've not even gotten into the company, and you're treating me this way. And the way my career is, you have to do, tests. They'll give you, a take-home assignment, then you go and you submit it. Then if they want you, they'll call you to present it at the interview and all. So that's what happened. I passed the first stage. They called me to present. I presented it well. And the guy was just so rude to me. I couldn't understand. But again, maybe I'm the one that is looking for a job. I just ignored it. I even thought it was part of my recruitment process. So I thought it was like a test or something, so I ignored it. And then, I spoke to everyone after that, and I got the offer. They sent me a letter, congratulations, you got in the job. I was happy, I was going to start. And then, like the next day, I got a mail from the same company. Oh, hello, Korede, thank you so much for accepting our offer. Before you go on, please, can you send us your bank statement? And I'm like, why? And I said, I called the guy that I spoke to at the initial stage of the interview, and I said, I got your mail. I saw you want my bank statement. What do you need it for? And they said, they just want to check my salary, how much I was earning before, and they want to see if. But I'm like, we've already agreed on salary before, and we've agreed on everything. Why do you want my salary? They said they want to know that. It just did not make sense. And even how they spoke to me on the phone, and the guy was like, if you don't send it, won't be able to go on with the process and everything. And I just said, you know what, it's fine, I'm good. Thankfully, I had 2 other offers, so I was able to, let go of that one. But I now remembered all the things I heard, all the bad things that were said online about them. I was like, oh, this is what I would have gotten myself into. Thank God I had other options. And now fast forward like 2 months later, when I got a job with another company, there was like this fair, a fintech company. Oh, by the way, it's actually a big fintech company. So it's not even about the name of the company. If I mention their name, most of you would know them. It's a big fintech company in Nigeria.
Please don't.
No, we are born again and saved. We will not do that. We will not do that. But I was just very disappointed that happened, And then 2 months later, we go for this fair, fintech fair, where my company works with a lot of fintech, so we had to speak with them. And then this company that I said no to, they were a mess when I got there. They had not even set up their stand. It was just a mess. And I was just like, thank God I dodged the bullet. I was like, thank God I dodged it. It wasn't about the money, because sometimes we look at the money, we're like, oh, I want to work in this company because of how much they are paying me, I want to work. But beyond that, the reputation of the company is very important. They have to have a good reputation. Another thing I look out for is opportunities for career growth. I don't think I'll be growing in my career if not for the fact that the first role I had, they trained me. They literally invested in my growth and learning, and for that, I am tremendously grateful. They sent me to product school. I did the certification. They were not paying me so much at the time, but that was a good trade-off for me. So, reputation of the company and learning opportunities, amongst other things. Then I think you mentioned something about the remote work.
Yes, please.
I'm a big advocate of remote work. I know before COVID, if you had mentioned the idea of working from home with your boss, they would say, no, you're lazy. Why do you want to work from home? You're this and that. But now, after COVID, even our bosses, they don't want to resume. Our bosses don't want to come back to work. Like, most of them are not even in the country. So I'm a big advocate of remote work because I believe that it helps people generally with work-life integration. Not work-life balance now, but work-life integration, because you're able to blend your personal and your professional responsibilities very well without having to be exhausted, without having to feel like, oh, I'm guilty, I'm doing something at home, I'm doing something at work. So I honestly believe, and it also helps with productivity. The time that you spend commuting, especially in this Lagos, 2 hours on the road, 3 hours, you can use that time for something more productive. I know that a lot of people abuse it, right? And I know that it's still something that companies are still trying to find a good balance with. But I honestly believe that if it is managed properly, companies will even get more than they would if people came to the office. Case in point, the first company I worked with as a product manager, we had said that we were going to work on a particular product for we gave timeline for 6 months to 1 year. And we ended up completing that product in 3 months because we all worked from home. So we're all productive, because everybody knew that if I'm working from home, they'll think I'm playing, so I'm not going to play, I'm going to do my work, I'm going to be effective and productive. So I honestly do believe that remote work is very good. We just need to know how to manage it very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Korede. That was insightful. I'll come to you, Mr. Osinachi, from a finance point of view, following what she mentioned about how employees become more productive. So how has your company adapted to remote work practices in response to COVID-19 and post-COVID-19. What has changed practically, and then maybe some financial insight. From your experience and your opinion, do you think companies actually do perform financially better when they adopt policies as such?
All right, thank you very much, and thank you to Covenant Capital for the opportunity. Now, speaking about remote work, I've been on both sides, right? I've worked in an organization where we worked remotely 100% of the time. And I've also been in an organization where we work from the office. For me, to be honest, I do not think, depending on the stage you are in your career, that 100% remote work is the way to go. It may not be a popular view, but I don't think it is healthy for work. Particularly if you're starting off in your career, you need to come to the office. I have to tell you the truth. I advocate for hybrid more than 100% remote work. Because the reality is, when you work remotely, we say those things like Corey has said about we are more productive and there's work-life integration. But what does that really mean? What it means is people think they are multitasking, but the facts show, even science shows, that there's nothing like multitask. You can only do one thing at a time. And work requires focus, okay, for you to deliver effectively. There are many benefits you get when you work from the office, one of which is collaboration. The other is you get to meet people, all right? And when you have meetings, when you have physical meetings, they are different from when you're meeting on Teams or online. You get a lot done. I don't even want to go into the softer side of things, because if you're a young professional, you need to be seen. There are assessments that we make of you when we interact with you physically than when you're online, all right? When you're online, and what happens, when people say they're working remotely sometimes, is they're in the market. They're in Okenri market and taking a call, okay? But they're not actually working. They're somewhere doing their own business. The place is noisy. Until you call the person, okay, Tunde, what do you have to say about this? They've not been listening. They are not in the meeting. And they can't answer. Or maybe they answer, okay, sorry, can you repeat the question? I was on mute. I don't know what being on mute has to do with you hearing what we're saying. But that is proof the person is not engaged. That's the truth. Okay, so we've gone through COVID. Post-COVID, the numbers look better, that people have come back to work, because there's such a thing, there's a concept called humanized work. Okay, work doesn't exist on its own. Work is done by people. Mm-hmm. And the way God made us to interact as human beings. So there's value when we come together in the place of work. But because most of us live in Lagos, I do understand why that is an issue with commuting, having to spend hours in traffic. So what I advocate is maybe you take a day remote in the week, a day or two max. But the rest of the day, you should come to the office, because there are ways you engage in the office and we observe. That is where you can demonstrate your leadership, really. It's harder to do that online. And even certain conversations, some things are spoken or written by email that are lost in context. If I'm in a meeting with you, you can see my body language, you understand where I'm coming from, and things move faster than when you do remote. So, in essence, what I'm saying is my take on this is that a hybrid solution for me is basically the best solution, because it gives you the best of both worlds. Now, commuting every day, Monday to Friday, can be challenging, but if you say, okay, take Monday or Thursday in the week, don't come to the office, so you take a break, all right? But 100% remote work, I don't think is best for young professionals, to be honest. I will not advocate for that because you miss out a lot. There's a lot you can gain from mentoring, from observing other leaders, how they engage, that will be lost just because you're not physically in the office.
Thank you very much. I will come to you, Mr. Fisayo Dudiemi. The rate of change of the business landscape is changing faster, and it's the rate of change increases by the moment. How does organizations invest in employee development and upskilling? Because of course, if the work is changing and the skill set of the people remain the same, there's going to be a mismatch, right? So how from a strategic point of view, how do you think, whose responsibility is it in the first place? Is it the organization? Is it the talent? And what's the best practice to ensure that talents can keep up with the rate of change? And if you could also speak to this remote work conversation, it would be great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Let me start by saying thanks to Covenant Capital for featuring me in this event.
All right.
Interestingly, I'm part of the family. I'm one of the members leading the business advisory department.
My boss.
I think, HOD has a way of making it difficult for me to say no, right? Because ordinarily I would have probably pushed somebody else to do it and lead from behind. But I'm happy to be here to speak with you and along with the rest of the panelists. What is happening in the world of work? It's rapidly evolving. It's not the same as it was yesterday, and the future of work is also rapidly changing. I think I will start by saying that you have to recognize that the demographics are shifting. In the past, you probably see more of the baby boomers and probably the Generation X. But nowadays, you must also recognize that there are other generations that has to be catered for within the context of organizational setting. The millennials, Generation Y, and the Gen Zs. And because talent is pervasive, and the younger you have, perhaps you probably have greater potential to contribute to the success of the organization. And it's important that organizations are positioned to harness across the demographics. And I like the point you raised earlier about inclusion. All of that must be taken into consideration. Inclusion, diversity does not necessarily focus on gender. And in my own industry, the energy space, it is no gainsaying that it's more male predominant, right? But equality, gender equality and inclusion is not really, should not be seen in gender dichotomy. It must be seen across board. How collaborative are you as an organization? How engaging are you as an organization? Because you cannot deliver as an island or as a solo player. Teams that deliver great work. You can have a player, a single A player who is perhaps the CEO. But how much can a single person do? You must surround yourself with A players, as in across cadres, across geographies, across demographics. And it's not going to be we or the people that I know, maybe people from your sect. It's not about they are from my church or they are from my family local setting or they are from my town. We've seen organizations that focus on that, and at the end of the day, they cannot really compete with a well-diverse organization. Talking about the remote consideration, I think the shift is no longer about on-prem, really. I think it has to be, you have to look at the context of your organization. What's your business about, really? If you are a tech company, you probably would have greater latitude to accommodate remote. But we have seen that as well. Even in Silicon Valley, they've tasted exclusive remote, right? Allowing people to work from anywhere, because yes, the world is a global village. Really, work can be done. We're not disputing that work can be done from anywhere. But you just have to put the context of the organization at the back of your mind, and also put the context behind you and use that to determine what really would work. I read the news recently about Nike a couple of weeks ago, that Nike is pulling back more of his innovation team personnel back on-prem. They've seen how far they could go with remote, but they've also identified the gap that remote work may have created. I mean, if you are working in the innovation team, you really have to be testing products physically, right? I mean, there are digital versions and all that, but there are perspectives that can be missed if you are not also, rubbing minds, leveraging, to the points you made. So, put the context of your organization at the back of your mind. If I use the example of my organization, where I work, we've tried to accommodate across board, allowing leaders to define how work can be best done in their respective divisions, giving them opportunity to get focused, because that's really the selling point of remote. Why do you want to work remotely? Perhaps you want a concentrated time, you want to focus, so we get that. So that's a tick. We give you that opportunity. But we also know that work is not done in isolation. There are times where greater momentum is gained when you are with people, right? You gain more momentum doing that. And that we also allow for by bringing people to the office. So I like the suggestion of 1 or 2 days in a week. I mean, it can be anything. It can be 1 week in a month. It can be, you have latitude of 1 month, even in a year. I have one of my subordinates that I've not seen physically in the last 1 year. The last time I saw him was perhaps June last year. And work is going on, right? So that accommodation is there. But in essence, you must guide productivity and ensure that you trust people to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'll take one question for this discussion before we go to the questions that the curious minds in the audience have asked. Emma Clark, not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody is going to be a 9 to 5 hour, 1 day hybrid, 2 day hybrid, depending on the context. There are people who are going to be gig workers. There are people who are going to be freelancers. From an HR point of view, how does your organization engage freelancers, and how does it work? How optimal is that? Very briefly, so that we can take questions.
Thank you so much for asking me that question. Hello? Thank you so much for asking that question. In 2020, COVID did a number on us. And my organization transited from a physical, office to a fully remote office. And post-COVID, I still do that. I work with gig workers. I work with freelance workers. I don't have any permanent staff. I've exited everybody who is yes, for now.
Wow.
We are thinking of transiting back to the permanent model, but as we're doing the structuring, I'm beginning to understand that it's not everybody that suits a permanent lifestyle, okay? So it does work, it can work. We've had very, productive work hours with gig workers, all right? It's up to you to evolve your own style of working with them. There are positives and there are negatives to working with gig workers. The positives are that I can scale at a short notice. I can go from a small organization to being a large organization in just a matter of seconds, all right? There is no cost. I have little or no cost. I don't have to run daily costs. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to worry about people getting to work, people not getting to work. So I only worry about work in terms of the execution of my projects, all right? So it's a whole ecosystem. It's a new ecosystem. There's so much to gain for those of you who are trying to get permanent jobs and you haven't been able to get those permanent jobs. Maybe one of the ways to start is to start first of all as a freelance or gig worker, and then you can, I can tell you for a fact that lots of the people who work with me used to be my permanent staff. And then they exited and they've come back to work with me as gig workers. And they're saying to me now, we don't want to come back. If you go permanent, don't call us. Why? Because they're earning more money. Because if your money is tied to projects, and we're doing 5 projects within, say, a month, and you're earning like the money you used to earn in a month on each project, you can calculate how much you would earn from that as a gig worker. However, there is a cautionary tale to that, okay? You have to be careful. The cons for us as an organization is that we're beginning to discover that in terms of growth, business growth, certain places that we want to go to in terms of growth, we might not be able to go there with gig workers, all right? Because for certain aspects of your growth, you need to have committed people who are there to drive that growth, all right? The second thing too is that quality can be a problem. Sometimes gig workers, you can't hold them, all right? You've done your work. You call them to work 9 to 5, Tuesday to Wednesday. They finished your work. You have quality issues that come up. You cannot, follow up on them to correct those quality issues. So you have to come back in yourself to correct the quality issues that may come up. But as I said, there are pros, there are cons. We're saying to ourselves now as an organization, we need to start thinking about tweaking our model. We're thinking part permanent, part gig. It works. All right?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You asked, some of you have gone on slido.com. You've used the hashtag Excel to access the platform and you've dropped some questions. I'm going to be reading some of the questions to us now, and I think that I will ask Mr. Gbolahan to start with these first 2 questions. The first question is, what do you advise if the skills you were interviewed for getting a job is not the skill you are being asked to utilize on the job? What I ordered versus what I got. And then the second is, can you start a career at 42 and get good payment considering the economy? I think that's an easier question.
Okay, so I like the first question. There are very few things that people really studied in school. When you get into the workplace, what you find out is that 90% of the time, you just need to be trainable. So if what they interviewed you for, when you got there, is different from what you found, adapt, learn. Now, it doesn't mean that you should not sit back and ask. There could be a culture issue, which is, if I interviewed you for a job A, and you get it and I'm telling you to do something totally different, Korede spoke about reputation. There could be a reputational issue. But most of the time, it's about adapting. If you look at a lot of fintechs, the business model they started with, they've had to adapt. I don't know if you guys know of a company called NVIDIA. NVIDIA It has the third largest market cap in the world. These guys set out to make GPUs for video games. That's what they set out to do. But they found out that these chips, you can adapt them for, what is needed to power these large language models for, artificial intelligence. And today, that company, let me just put it in perspective. There's a company called Intel, and Intel used to be bigger than NVIDIA. Today, Intel is 200 billion or something market cap, if they're even up to that. NVIDIA is maybe 2.5 trillion, yeah? Because they could adapt. So, adapt. Even if you decide to continue doing what you are doing, that thing they interviewed you for, in 2 years' time, it will be relevant. When I started working, I was in finance, in banking. They used to print out a ledger like this for us to determine the profitability of customer accounts. So there was a job function called knocking in. Knocking in means they give you the ledger, you open the spreadsheet, then you start typing it in. And then we're typing it in on something called Lotus. And Lotus has a lot of funny commands. So it's not this one you're doing on Excel, it's just /file save, enter. And then there's this guy who used to print this stuff, and if you annoy him, he will make the print smaller so that you use a ruler to. And then someone came into the office, and I think giving the story, someone came into the office one day, a technology lady, and she said, "What are you guys trying to do?" And we didn't know that you could convert a text file into an Excel spreadsheet, And so she converted the text file into the Excel spreadsheet that were delivered from the man that used to, that's how we got our deliverance. But what I'm saying is, even if somebody was so good at that knocking in, then the spreadsheets came. Then now, no one is even talking about spreadsheets, yeah? Because people are using, language models and all that. So just be adaptable. What was the second question?
Can I still get a good job that pays well at 42?
Yeah, see, there are a lot of things you can learn. And, when people tell me this, what I always tell them is, when people leave Nigeria, one thing I've learned is that when a Nigerian leaves Nigeria, his mind becomes open. Once that airport, once the plane takes off, it's as if the mind changes. He will just start telling himself, anything that your hand finds, you do it with all your might. Anything that your hand finds, you do it with all your might. When he comes back to Nigeria, he starts telling you, imagine that, imagine. Look, any day you wake up, is your money. There a lot of the new things now, there are skills that did not exist. 25 years ago, there was nothing called digital banking in financial services. There was no financial institution that had an app. There was no division called digital banking. That title did not exist. So anything you want to do, you can learn. The good thing is today, you can learn a lot of things by yourself. You don't even need people to teach. If you go online, you can learn so many things by yourself. There's a nationality, I'm not going to call their name because we're national TV. You work with guys from that nationality, you see them, there's something they don't know, they just shake their head, they go online. You see a Nigerian, he'll be telling you this thing is hard now, this thing is hard now. Be adaptable, just be agile. For me, if there's one word, be agile. What you know today, you might not need it tomorrow. Be ready to drop it and move on to something else.
Thank you very much, sir. We just have a couple of minutes to go, and I want to rush this couple of questions. Mr. Osnachi, could you help us with this? This person asked that, what should a fresh graduate do in a situation of no experience, but they I think, come across jobs that requires 2 to 3 years work experience? I still have more, so let's take that quickly.
Okay. You can't manufacture experience, right? But see, the thing is this: you as a fresh graduate, like Bolanho said a lot, you have to demonstrate curiosity, okay, and the willingness to learn. That's really the most important thing. You'll be surprised. Even some of the jobs that may advertise and say, okay, we need 2 to 3 years experience. If you manage to get through the door, it's how you show up that really counts, right? If you have the mindset that I want to come in here and I want to learn. Okay, so all those kind of questions about this is my skill, this is my qualification versus the job, you just drop them out the door. You know, be very open, like he said, to learn and also to add value to that organization. And so I think the most important thing for a fresh graduate to have is the right mindset. It's all in your mind. Why are you even looking for a job? You see, what drives you to go look for a job? What drives your decision to go to a certain organization? If from the get-go, your focus is on soft life, then you have missed it. You have missed it. You have to go in with the mindset that I'm going to pay a price to get something. Because the very first 5 or 6 years of your career, you should be focused on learning. Okay, you should be focused on learning. When I started my career, I started working as a teacher, actually. And then I moved into banking. I did banking for a couple of months. But then I left the bank and I took a pay cut to take another job that paid less than what I was being paid as a banker. Because this was a job I believed in PricewaterhouseCoopers that was going to train me and I was going to learn a lot, much more than I could have picked up in banking at the time. So it's really important what your focus is. If your focus is on money, then you don't have the right focus. What you should be looking at is how do I increase my value? And the only way you increase your value is by what you learn.
Yeah.
And what you learn is a function of how much you apply yourself to an organization to learn and to do much more than maybe you think you're being paid. So I think that mindset is really key. As you venture out there. And she also talked about freelancing. You can also volunteer. Even if you don't necessarily have a job that's willing to pay you now, again, the focus should not be on the money at this time. It's about the skill. It's about what you learn. If there's a place where you can volunteer your services, volunteer your time, go there. It's a learning point. You never know when you will need those skills in the future. And that could be what will open up bigger doors for you in future. So don't just focus on immediate gains for now. Focus on those opportunities that will help you to learn and acquire new skills.
Focus on learning. Thank you very much. This is a good question about to ask, and this for Emma Clark and Mr. Fisayo to answer jointly. And I hope we can do that in 1 minute. Now, what would you advise an individual who is looking to move from entrepreneurship to 9-to-5 employment? And how would such a person project himself for employability? Moving from entrepreneurship to seeking 9-to-5 opportunities, what should that person do to project his or herself for employment? Thank you, sir.
Okay. It's not uncommon to find scenarios like that. Actually, I've witnessed it in our organization. We've brought people in who've led enterprises themselves. There are some organizations that are looking for people like that. In fact, as a matter of fact, because you have experienced something that we can leverage for our own value creation. The value of your experience, the failures, perceived failures that you may have experienced, they are nuggets really for success, and you are in high demand. I think that's probably how I will put it to give you confidence. Easily you can move into 9-to-5 and even become the superstar there. Thank you.
I think the first thing is just be honest, okay? As a recruiter, I like to see and listen to people who are honest, all right? So you tell me you were in entrepreneurship before, it's not working anymore. You want stability. There might be different reasons why you're transiting from entrepreneurship back to a 9-to-5 job, and most of the time we find that it's because of stability. Maybe a guy was not married before. Now he has gotten married. He has to buy baby milk. He has to buy Pampers. He has to buy so many things in the house. Wife is looking at him. This your entrepreneurship is not working. Please. We need money at the end of the week. So just be honest with people, all right, with recruiters about why you're looking for that 9-to-5 job. Secondly, be open about the skills that you're bringing, all right? Confident about the skills. There are a lot of skills that we pick up as entrepreneurs. One is the capacity to be able to work on your own. The second is to be able to push yourself and drive yourself towards performance, all right? These are skills that people are looking for within, recruiters are looking for within the workplace. Market yourself. Let people know. If I could run my own business, then it means that I can run your own even better. So these are, it's easy, and these are some of the things that you should do to let people know that you are capable of going back to a 9-to-5 job.
Thank you very much, Emma Clark. And with these few points of ours, I hope we've been able to prove to you that if you're a value creator, you're a value dispenser, and you light your candle and you put it up there, the world will see you, the world will call for you, and the world will pay you your due. A round of applause for our entire panel. As we wrap up, we're going to have some photo ops, and just a moment for the photographers to come around. Okay, you're there. Please, could we rise and then for photo ops? Is HOD around? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to the MCs for the plaid presentations.
Yes,
please move on.
Our panelists, you please sit. It's not time to go. Thank you so much for the session. How many of us believe that this was very, very impactful? Please put our hands together for them, please. Let's put our hands together for the panelists. Aimede, please come up. So again, as a token of our appreciation, we'd just like to present plaques to them, to our panelists, and Aimede and Femi would help us do that. Remove it, okay. We would like to invite the keynote speaker, Mr. Mezwe, to please come join them for the photo ops. Please, let's put our hands together. Come.
Thank you so very much. A round of applause once more. Thank you.
We would also like to invite, please, 1 minute before you go, we would also like to invite the facilitators of the master classes. Please hold on a minute. We would like to invite the facilitators of the master classes, Tinuke Bosun Okusaga, Lanre, Wilhelm, Toyin, Udikombo, and Jumoke. Please come up stage so that we can take pictures together, and we'll present their plaques as well. These are the people that made the master classes very impactful. They spent their time downloading what they would typically charge for. So please, let's put our hands together for them as we present them with the plaques.
this masterclass. So we had, yes. So before this event, we thought it wise to have like a preparatory, series where we had LinkedIn profile optimization, resume reviews, and all of that. And this new set of people who were our facilitators during the master classes helped to prepare a lot of candidates who are here today and who are also watching online for this event. And we'll be presenting them their plaques. They worked behind the scene. Most of those sessions were virtual, it was online, and they devoted a lot of time and effort to making this happen. So we want to appreciate each and every one of you once again. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Busola. Right? Tinuke, Jumoke, Olarewaju, and Toyi for the come. Thank you so much, and God bless you. This is for you.
Please, can we pose for pictures? Photo ops, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I think we have 2 people that are not here today. So there are about 6 of them. So thank you all. We're blessed for you. Thank you.
Go to the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Please, let's put our hands together. Let's put our hands together for them.
Impactful, right?
Yes, impactful.
Wow.
Who can tell me one thing they took away? One thing.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Flesh and blood did not reveal that. Focus.
Focus.
Yeah.
Keep learning.
Keep
Continuous
learning.
learning, right? Keep it coming, yeah?
Curiosity.
What else? Curiosity. Anything else?
We need people from this side. What did you learn from this side? Sorry?
Adaptability, right? Be agile. Always on your feet. Yes.
Fantastic.
Please put your hands together for our speakers as they go out of the room. Thank you so much.
Please, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate
Please
the time
keep clapping
that
as
you have
they
spent
walk.
speaking with us. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you,
God
thank you,
bless you.
thank you, thank you. Please keep clapping.
No, keep clapping. Keep clapping.
Keep clapping. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So
Thank
quickly,
you.
we have a presentation from the YPB. YPB is the Youth Platform Bootcamp representative that is here today. So he has a presentation for us. Please, let's make welcome Biodun Jinodu. Biodun Jinodu, please.
Please put our hands together as it comes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Biodun. I just want to introduce quickly to us. I don't know if you can be... All right, thank you. I want to tell us about the platform YPB, the Platform Young Professionals Bootcamp. It's an intensive in-residence leadership and enterprise program designed to equip high-performing and young professionals with critical skills and mentorship to inspire innovation and drive success in the marketplace. Now, the YPB is started in 2016. It's sponsored by the Covenant Nation. It's an initiative of the Platform Nigeria, and it's an event for people within the ages of 20 and 25. I started in 2016, so I'll just paint a picture. So every year, people within that age bracket of 20 and 25 that apply to this program. Is totally free. We have about 3,000 applications every year, and they go through this rigorous selection process. We have about 300 people that we select. Then we take them to a very tastefully furnished facility where we provide accommodation, feeding, best-in-class feeding, and we invite the best minds in Nigeria across 3 streams: corporate career, entrepreneurship, and the creative stream. Interestingly, some of our speakers here, they have come to the YPB before. I mean, Mr. Mezwo Iwuleli has been there, Pastor Osinachi Beneme has been there, Mrs. Tinuke Okusaga has been there. So I'm inviting everyone, if you're within the age of 20 and 25, or you know people that are within the age of 20 and 25, please recommend them to apply to this program. It's totally free. The deadline is June 5th. It's one of the best. I was part of it in 2016. Victor is part of it. Do I have YPB alumni here? Anybody? Awesome. They are part of it as well. I'm encouraging everyone to please apply before the deadline. It's the best, one of the best things that you could ever do for yourself. 300 people in a particular facility. We invite the best minds. We have had Mrs. Ibuku and Oshika come. Steve Abayeko has been there. Kim Aditiba has been there. Balalios Peters has been there. And it's a closed door. I mean, it's mentoring session. It's coaching and mentoring. It's not just that you're watching them from afar. So please and please and please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your words to apply. It's closing soon, June 5th, to the platform YPB. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. 25 years old. It's from 20 to 25, right? 20 to 25. Yeah, so no football age. Very, very important. Bits and pieces of information before we move to the next section of this. There's going to be a floor plan for the whole booths that are here. So there is a floor plan. You would need to scan the floor plan. I think it will be displayed on the digital screen very soon. We're waiting. What's Media, if you can help us with it. There's a floor plan, so you can download the floor plan so that it would guide you accordingly as to what you need to do to make your way around the booths.
Yes, please. So scan the QR code on the screen so you can understand the environment that you're in. We will just be sharing with us the modalities for the next session of this part of this event. Please feel free to go into any booth of your choice, right, when we get up. But we would like it to be orderly, so the ushers are going to help you navigate. So they will be coordinating the movement so that everybody doesn't just rush out at the same time. So please, once we're done, please be seated. Do not get up immediately. The ushers will come guide us on when to get up. This is a value-packed program. So what we have also done is that we have mental health coaches on ground. If you need to talk to somebody, please look to my left behind those booths over there. There's a room there where the coaches are. So we have mental health and career coaches on ground who can help you, deep dive further into some of these conversations or any challenge that you may have. I hope we're all scanning the QR code. If you want to connect with us, please, you can email us through info@covenant-capital.org, covenantcms@gmail.com. On Instagram, you can connect with us on instagram.com/Covenant Capital. On Facebook, through facebook.com/Covenant Capital. On Twitter, you can connect with us using twitter.com/C3_capital. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming, but please ensure that you're seated. You do not stand up immediately. We thank you very much for coming for this session, and after this session, you would have the opportunity to go to meet any employer of your choice. And we wish you all the best. We're going to call on Aimede now to give the vote of thanks. Please put your hands together as she comes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for gracing this occasion and for your patience, even with the downpour of the rain. We want to say thank you. But first and foremost, we want to thank Almighty God, because this wouldn't have been possible without Him. And also want to say a shout out to our senior pastor and his wife, Pastor Koju. Please clap for him. Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate. We couldn't have done this without your support. Thank you so much. And I want to say, behind all this thing, we had a team. Wonderful people. Buchi, Dr. Jam, you saw the MCs. We want to say thank you for every member of the Covenant Capital. We could have done it without you. Thank you so much. And also, we had 3 master classes before this particular session, and it was mind-blowing. You can go to our page to go and review them. We want to thank all our masterclass teachers, we thank them so much. For the facilitators, we appreciate them. We want to also tell Mr. Menzel, the keynote speaker, thank you so much for your busy schedule. Every single panelist that came today, they all are busy people, but they took out from their time. We want to say we appreciate you and thank you so much. And we want to say we wish you all the best. Just be bold. All the things they've told you, put a bit of smile. It's not the employers, they want you people. So just be your best, be at home and just relax. And I believe God will take absolute control. All right, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Buchim. Okay, please, quick one. Please, this is for the companies. Please, on your tables for the participating organizations, you have a tally of 1 to 150. Please, as candidates come to your booths, please, first come, first serve. So the first person who comes gets a number 1, the next person number 2. So when you are going back, because at the end of the day, people might have up to 1 to 150, right, in a particular booth. So the companies are expected to be using the numbers to see the candidates. The idea is that we want to be able to organize visits to the booths. So what you'll be required to do once we're done with this session is to identify the companies that you would like to speak with. And when you get there, please, companies, the tallies on your table, give them out, first come, first serve. The first person gets number 1, number 2, and that is the order in which we would like you to organize seeing them. It doesn't mean that if number 5 is not around, you can move to number 6. But when number 6 comes back, so it will be helpful for the companies to be tracking the numbers that they have treated. Please, this is for the companies. And please, for the companies, once somebody comes with number 1 to your table, please take the tag from them so that they will not become professional number 1s across the entire room, please. So I'm saying it again. For the different participation organizations, we have a tally of 1 to 150. When as candidates, you are required to go around and identify the companies that you would like to engage. And you take a tally. And that's the order in which the companies will be seeing the candidates. Now, even if the tags finish, once we finish up to 150, we'll give other tags for the next batch. I hope we're clear. All right, thank you, guys.
Are we clear? Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. The ushers will now guide us on how to move. We wish you the very best throughout this day. Thank you.
please, just for ease of people identifying the opportunities, please send your active open opportunities to covenantcms@gmail.com. covenantcms@gmail.com. And for the candidates who registered, if you check on the platform where you registered, you can actually see almost 200 vacancies that were advertised by the different companies. So for candidates that registered on the platform, please visit the platform again and you will see available openings. Please, that can help you guide your navigation around the hall. Please, for the participating companies, you can send your open vacancies also to covenantcms@gmail.com. That way we can help you project them on the screen in the course of the event. Thank you.
you want to meet a career coach or you need mental health coaching, please find your way to the right. Make a turn from the way you were sitting. So back the stage and go towards your right. Okay? The nursing mother's room. That's where the coaches are. The nursing mother's room is where the coaches are. Mental health coaches and career coaches. Please make your way to their room if you need help. The coaching room, again, the coaching room, please make a turn from the stage and go right. Make a turn from the stage and go right. The room at the back of the hall, to your right. That is where the coaching room is. Please avail yourself the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, there's some people that have papers with them, sheets of paper, and you were told that you'll be given a free headshot. Please, if you are one of them, just come to where I am standing right now. We're setting up for the free headshot, and we should be done in like 5 to 10 minutes. So please, if you were promised free headshot, and you have the paper that confirms that with you, you can come over right now. If you need coaching with your mental health, or a career coaching, the room is still open. You can find your way down to the nursing mother's room. In case you don't know where that is, you can approach anyone with a Covenant Capital t-shirt and you'll be directed accordingly. Mental coaching and also career coaching. They are waiting for you. Okay, if you need mental coaching and career coaching as well, please, the nursing mother's place is still open for you. Just walk into the place and you get coached free of charge. If you have a paper